Welcome to iAdvocate, a podcast series on the public policy process developed by the Emergency Medical Service for Children National Resource Center. This series will equip you with information and strategies to effect legislative change at the federal, state, and local levels. While many of the examples used in this series refers to the federal policymaking process, most of the tools and tips are also applicable at the state and local levels. In addition to taking this training, we encourage you to download and view the Resource Center's Public Policy Primer, which will supplement the content discussed in this series. In this third lesson, you will learn the importance of becoming an informed constituent and understand the most effective ways of communicating with your policymakers and their staff, including written and electronic communication or an in-person meeting. One of the greatest benefits of communicating with policymakers is the opportunity to build mutually beneficial professional relationships with them and their staff. These relationships will allow you to successfully educate these lawmakers and advocate for your cause. First and foremost, however, you must earn their respect and trust by becoming an informed constituent. This can easily be accomplished by conducting a little research on your policymakers prior to communicating with them. A legislator's website is a great source of information and a great place to start your background research. The website will likely contain lists of bills he or she has sponsored or co-sponsored, committee and caucus assignments, press releases, and other information that will reveal a policymaker's legislative stance. For example, if the policymaker is a member of the Congressional Children's Health Caucus or has introduced legislation related to children's health, he or she may be very considerate of EMSC-related issues. Biographical or personal information posted on the website may be just as telling. It may indicate if the legislator is a trained medical professional, a board member at the local children's hospital, or even reveal personal information such as a family member's connection to the issues at hand. In the case of pediatric issues, all of these examples could indicate a policymaker's interest for your cause. Knowing your issue is just as important as knowing the legislator. As an informed constituent, you should fully understand the priorities and issues for which you are advocating. For example, you should research whether or not legislation has been introduced on the matter. If so, you should know if the legislator has co-sponsored the bill or where the bill stands in the legislative process. You should also understand if a legislator has been supportive or spoken out against related issues. Even with proper preparation, communicating with policymakers for the first time can be intimidating. You may be nervous and feel as if you will not be able to articulate your message properly. You may be intimidated by the office that the legislator holds and believe he or she may not respect your opinion. Legislators, however, are elected to serve you and to listen to your concerns. In addition, legislators may have specialty knowledge in some areas, but not others. This is your opportunity to supplement the information they already know on a topic. An example of this might be current statistics, successful program activities, related research, or local context. In the case of EMSC, if you are meeting with a policymaker, consider bringing a practicing healthcare professional, a grantee, or a family member of a child who uses the EMS system. These individuals can bring a personal or professional perspective to the issue. Once you are ready to communicate with your policymaker, you need to make sure you know who they are and how to contact them. Both the United States Congress and the state legislatures have unique websites that assist constituents in identifying their legislators and provide contact information for each of their offices and staff. Specifically, to identify your congressman or congresswoman, visit the United States House of Representatives website at the URL shown on the screen. Enter your zip code under the Find Your Representative box and click Go. This will direct you to a page that includes the name of the representative and a link to his or her homepage. There you will be able to find an address, website, and phone and fax numbers for each of his or her offices. To identify your senators, please visit the United States Senate website at the URL displayed on the screen. Click on the Senators tab on the top left menu bar. From the Choose a State drop-down menu, select State. You will be redirected to a page that lists the names of the senator as well as the addresses, websites, and phone numbers for their Washington, D.C. offices. Keep in mind, contact information for your congressman or woman and senators may be limited to main telephone numbers and general email addresses. This, however, is still a good place to start and may ultimately lead you to the staff member handling your issue of concern. Now that you have identified your policymaker, there are several means of communicating with them. These include telephone calls, letters, emails, and in-person meetings. Telephone calls to policymakers are an effective means of expressing your views on a particular issue. When calling, identify yourself as a constituent and ask to speak to the legislator or the staff member who handles the issue you wish to discuss. More than likely, the legislator will be in meetings or conducting legislative business. Don't shy away from the opportunity to speak with legislative staff. These individuals provide recommendations and guidance to the legislators. It is just as important to articulate your message and develop a relationship with legislative staff as it is with the policymaker. If during the call you are asked questions that you do not know the answers to, it is okay to say, "I don't know." Let the person know that you will research the answers and follow up in a given time frame. At the end of the call, be sure to thank the individual for his or her time and consider following up with a thank you email or letter. If neither the legislator nor the staff member are available and you are asked to leave a message, do so. Your message should be brief and specific. If you are calling regarding particular legislation, mention the bill number and title. It is very important to personalize your message and not simply read talking points or from a script. A thoughtful message is more likely to receive a thoughtful response. Even though emails or letters are less personal than a telephone call or an in-person meeting, they can be very influential if they are thoughtful and well written. If possible, avoid using a general template or form letter. Legislators and their staff will appreciate emails that share personal experience and opinions. It will prompt legislators to respond in the same manner. Again, your message should be kept clear and concise. Only one issue should be addressed per communication. As with telephone calls, if writing about particular legislation, be sure to mention the bill number and title. Close your correspondence by thanking the legislator for his or her attention and reiterating any action that he or she should take to show support for the issue. Finally, be respectful of the office the legislator holds and use proper salutations when addressing your letter or email. Also, remember to provide your own contact information should the legislator or their staff wish to follow up with you for more information. A personal meeting with a legislator is perhaps the most effective way to convey your message. Take advantage of this opportunity if it is presented to you. When making an appointment, first request a meeting with the legislator. If he or she is unavailable, kindly ask to meet with a staff member. Again, do not underestimate the importance of meeting with a legislative aide. Lawmakers rely on them to conduct research, draft legislation, write speeches, and brief them on a regular basis. Therefore, it is very important to get an aide to appreciate your perspective. When speaking to a legislator or legislative aide, be clear and concise. Most in-person meetings are short, no longer than 15 minutes. In that brief time, you must convey your message and leave time for discussion. Be prepared to answer questions. Again, if you do not know the answer, do not be afraid to admit it, but be sure to follow up with the information. It is important to leave written information regarding your issue with the legislator or staff member. This could include fact sheets, national and local statistics, articles, and other marketing materials. Legislators and their staff have busy schedules and often take many meetings throughout the day. Providing these materials will help them ensure that your issue is not forgotten. As with all of your communication, keep your written materials clear and concise to be sure you do not lose the legislator's attention. A fact sheet, for example, should summarize your key points and be no longer than 1 page in length. At the conclusion of your meeting, thank the legislator and his or her staff for their time and attention. Be sure to give them your business card or otherwise provide your contact information. You should also send a follow-up letter or email thanking them once again and reiterating your message. Visiting a policymaker as part of a group can increase the impact of your message. Grouping individuals with a wide breadth of background and experience can provide a more complete picture and varied viewpoints on the issue at hand. For example, if you are visiting a legislator regarding EMSC, the skills and experience of a physician, nurse, or emergency medical technician can emphasize the clinical importance of improved pediatric emergency care. A family representative, on the other hand, can speak very personally of the benefit of such care. Such personal stories are often more compelling than facts and figures alone. To summarize, let us review a few important tips and tricks of communicating with legislators and their staff. First, prior to any method of communication, research the legislator's personal and professional profile through his or her website. Second, look for different opportunities to interact with the legislator, be it through their staff, a phone call, a letter, or an email. Third, keep messages clear and concise. Familiarize the legislator with the issue and explain its importance to you and the community, perhaps by leading with a personal story. Always be respectful and courteous in your communication, even if the legislator's views are contrary to your opinion. Finally, remember to follow up with any requested information or to simply thank the legislator and staff for their time. Thank you for joining us for this lesson of iAdvocate. To learn more about the concept discussed in this lesson, please refer to the Public Policy Primer, a guide on the legislative process and impacting change at the federal, state, and local levels, available free for download from the National Resource Center website. In the next lesson, you will learn how to apply these tips and tricks for communicating with legislators by viewing a series of mock visits with a policymaker.